Welcome to Emily Crochet. Today we are going to be kicking off a fun series on how to create a colorwork or tapestry crochet bag from start to finish. So before we jump into the good, I just want to remind you to subscribe if you feel so inclined. Okay, so in today's tutorial, we are going to be going over how to read and follow a colorwork chart and how to change colors within and at the end of the row. As you notice here, we have some striped work. We'll also be touching on how to crochet with two colors at the same time, or at least with two colors within the same row, because we have some white and then some other colors here we're going to be working with. If you are here because you purchased one of my patterns or kits, wink wink, website in the description box, wink wink, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you will be able to use the techniques in this entire video series to complete your projects. If you are here by happenstance because you were just scrolling the tube or whatever, hey la, first of all. And also you can certainly feel free to visit my shop description. The link is in the description box, and I've got some crochet kits and other crochet accessories there, really fun stuff. So go and give that a look. And all right, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to be going over is how to read a colorwork chart. So if you purchased one of my kits, you will get this chart printed out. There will actually be two of them, one at the front of the project and one at the back. If you purchase one of my patterns on Etsy or wherever I have patterns up, you will get a PDF, and I would recommend printing out the pattern because it's way easier to follow these graphs if you can write on them. This is a relatively small pattern that I'm going to be demonstrating today, but the patterns that I send can be sometimes twice or 3 times this size. So it's very helpful if you can actually write on them to keep track of your stitches. Just a note on this pattern, the purple, man, I could not get my printer to print gray for like anything in the world. And I tried for like a whole farging hour and it just would not work. So we're just going to ignore this lavender color and pretend that it's heather gray, okay? All right, so to get started on how to read a colorwork chart, for my projects, all of my projects are pretty much designed to be done in single crochet. A chart is a chart, and you can use it with literally anything. You can use this chart for knitting. You can use this chart for corner to corner crochet. You can literally use it for anything. But my particular projects that I write up are designed to be done in single crochet. So for mine, each box on this graph is going to represent one single crochet. So I have 25 going across. So that's going to be 25 stitches across. And I think I have maybe 28 rows. So 28 boxes going up. And that's going to be 28 rows of single crochet. So how do we read a colorwork chart? Colorwork is typically meant to be done, at least my patterns are meant to be done in rows, not in the round or anything like that. So you are going to read them starting from, and I'm just going to draw an arrow here, starting from right to left, and then from left to right. Some of my patterns are directional. This one is just symmetrical, same on both sides, so it doesn't really matter. But some of my patterns are directional, which means they have to be done in a certain order in order for the picture to come out right. So standard practice, you're going to read the odd lines from right to left and the even lines from left to right. So as you're working the pattern, you're basically going to be going in a zigzag like this in order to follow it. One thing that I like to do to help me keep track of what each line is doing is when I first started, I would actually draw arrows showing me the direction I was going to work in. So on all the odd number rows, I would draw an arrow going to the right. And then on the even numbered rows, I would draw an arrow going to the left. And again, that was just to help me keep track of what I was doing in the chart, because it can get pretty busy when you're in there working those stitches and all that color and stuff. So to get started on the actual stitching, remember I'm working in heather gray, not lavender like my stupid printer would have you to believe. So to get started working in the actual stitching, here is how that chart translates to stitches. I have, let's count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of heather gray, just straight heather gray, no color changes or anything like that. And then I have a 7th row of heather gray where I'm going to do my very first color change. It's only 1 stitch, but it is a legit color change. So I've worked up my 6 rows right here. And I'm going to start on my 7th row. This is an odd number row, so it's going to be going from right to left. And here's why I like to print my patterns out. Because I like to write down, again, just to keep myself, because as you're working this, you may have to get up for an emergency, use the restroom, let your dog out, something like that. And you could be deep into the middle of one row of stitches. And it's very easy to lose track of where you are, especially if you have like 60, 70 stitches going across rather than like the small number that I have here. So what I like to do is write down the number of stitches I have to do in each color on each line, and that helps me keep track. Like, I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of tapestry projects. This is the best method I have found for keeping track of where I am. So I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 heather gray, not lavender, stitches for this row. So I've got my work here that I've started on, and I'm going to go ahead and work those 12 stitches. We've got stitch number 11. Oops, come on. All right, now I'm on to my 12th stitch. So I'm going to change colors after this stitch to a white stitch. So for my 12th stitch, in order to change colors, I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook into that 12th single crochet, draw through, pull up a loop just like normal, and then I'm going to stop because I need to change to my white color. And in order to do that, I'm going to basically do half a stitch on that 12th stitch, drop the gray as my working color, grab my white, slip it onto my crochet hook like this, and then pull it through and complete that stitch. Now I have white as my working yarn. And I can go ahead and do my 1 white stitch because that's what's on my hook now. So I'm going to go through here, do the next stitch, draw through, pull up a loop to do my white stitch, and look, just that quick, I need to change colors again. So because my pattern is symmetrical, I know if I did 12 over here, I'm going to have to do 12 over here. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in. And then I'm going to drop the white as my working yarn, pick up that gray, finish this stitch off, and now I have gray on my hook, and I can continue with those 12 stitches to finish off the row. Ten, 11, and when I get to the end of this, that's the last of my gray. I need to switch now to my hot pink color. So I'm going to do a color change again. Just this time, instead of doing it within the row, I'm going to do it at the end of the row. Exact same principle applies. You're just doing it in a different location. So I'm at 11, and now I need to, according to my pattern, change colors to this hot pink color to start the next row. So in order to do that, I'm going to do the same thing I did over here and perform another color change. I'm going to go into this 12th stitch with my heather gray, draw through, pull up a loop, drop the gray as my working yarn, pick up my hot pink, put that on my hook, and slide it through those 2 loops to complete that stitch. And now I have hot pink as my working yarn. I'm going to chain 1 And according to my chart, I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hot pink stitches. And 11. But for that 11th, I need to change colors again to my white. And from there, I'm going to do 3 white stitches. So I'm going to go into that 11th stitch, draw through. With 2 loops left on my hook, I'm going to pick up my white, which has just kind of been hanging out over here. Grab it, finish off that stitch. And I need to remember that I have 1 unworked stitch here, because when you're doing color work, it's very easy to skip those unworked stitches and drop a stitch. So I need to remember I have 1 unworked stitch here, and now I need to do 3 white stitches. So I'm going to go in that 1 unworked, 1. Also, meanwhile, I'm still going to be working with this hot pink color. So what I'm going to do is just kind of lay that on top of my stitches and crochet right over it. That's called carrying it along. So I'm going to carry this yarn along. It's back here, just hanging out all by itself. And I'm going to crochet right over the top of it. So here's 1 white stitch. Here's 2. And here's my 3rd. And after that 3rd, I need to change colors again back to my hot pink and do another 11 stitches. So I'm going to draw through, pull up a loop, drop that white, and leave it here. It can hang out over here now until I need it again. Pick up my hot pink that I've been carrying along, finish off that stitch, and then go and do my 11 hot pink stitches that will finish off this row. All right, I'm going to turn that. And from here, you can pretty much keep going. We'll do one more row for good measure, but I think after this, you'll pretty much get it, right? So our next line here, again, we're working in this direction. And we have 10 hot pink stitches to do now. Make sure I wrote it in there. Chain 1 and go ahead and do my 10 stitches. Eight, 9, and 10, but not 10 complete stitches because I got to change colors again. So I'm going to do that half stitch, drop my pink, reach back here and pick up my white again, slide it on over. I'm going to try to be a little loose with that slide in, because if you go too tight when you slide that white over, you will completely bunch up that 1 unworked stitch there and you'll lose it. And also your work will start curving in. So I'm going to be a little loose when I carry that over. Make sure I got a little bit of slack. Grab my hot pink that's back here hanging out. Make sure it's flush against the work so I can crochet right over it and carry it along. And now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white stitches. Again, I'm crocheting right over that hot pink. That's 5. So before I complete that 5th stitch, I'm going to grab my hot pink, draw it through those 2 loops, and complete that stitch. Now I've got pink back as my working yarn, and I can go ahead and finish out this row with 10 more hot pink stitches. Whoop. We get into the habit of writing them down. All right. So from here on in, you can just keep working in this same pattern. Here you would do 9 hot pinks, 7 white, and 9 hot pinks to finish it out. Keep working your way on up to another stripe color, which would be the light pink. And then back to the heather gray, not lavender. Once you get up here, you're going to start reducing that heart. You'll have a few extra color changes here. So you're going to go from, let's say, light pink to white to light pink in the middle to white and then back to light pink. It's a little bit of extra color changing, but by that point you're going to be a pro at it, and it's the exact same technique from beginning to end. No matter how many color changes you have to do in a row, it's going to be the exact same technique. So I like to say that if you can, 1, single crochet, 2, color change, and 3, count stitches and keep track of them, you can do color work or tapestry crochet. So once you are done with that complete project, if you're following along with this video, you're going to have something that looks like this. It's nice, right? This is how this chart would work up in actual stitching. Thank you so much for joining me for today's tutorial. Had a lot of fun showing you how to follow a color work chart and change colors within a row. If you liked today's content, please, I would ask you to actually physically like the video and subscribe to my channel, and also share the video to push it out to more people. That would be awesome. Again, if you think you might be interested in any of my crochet kits, patterns, or other crochet accessories and fun things, you can check out my shop, emilycrochet.com. The link is in the description box. I hope you were able to learn something fabulous today. Now go out, venture forth, make fun things. Have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.